okay? But this is the indicated adhesive that I use for everything, because you can use a hybrid technique and do selective etching. So in a case like this, I have a simple indication for you guys. We etch everything that is not healthy dentin or deep dentin. So healthy dentin, we do not etch. Deep dentin, we do not etch. Everything else we etch. So here, for instance, I would etch, in this case, all the enamel, obviously, all the enamel, and I would etch a little bit this sclerotic dentin, and that's it. And then I would apply the adhesive normally. Here in the premolar, very simple, I would etch all the enamel areas, okay? And I would, at the end of the etching, apply a little bit of etch here for a few seconds, and I would rinse and dry. I mean, not over dry, but remove the excess moisture, right? Remembering that the adhesive is very forgiving. All right, so to avoid gap, you need a nice adhesive, but we're going to be reinforcing it with SDR. Okay, so I'll show this later to you. And I'll do the demo. I'll do the live demo of the adhesive application. I think we can skip these areas here, okay? All right, I just want to show you the, I'm not going to get into too many details. I just want to show you the quality. Let's see if they have the quality of the bond. This one here. This one is just amazing. So what you see here is what happens when you apply adhesive to a dental surface. Okay. So what happens is nothing. You need to spread it, right? You need to spread it around. So I can do this with other adhesives, but when we get to our adhesive, so Priming Bond Universal, it's very active and it will help you by spreading around. Look at this. It's really interesting. I mean, there's no magic. You still need to spread it around and remove the excess, but it's a very, very interesting adhesive. Also for air drying. If you air dry an adhesive, you're going to be in trouble. Okay? Because if you displace the adhesive by applying too much pressure, the adhesive is going to be very non-uniform, and you're going to lose a good chunk of the potential bond strength. All right. So let's say around 20%. Research shows anywhere between 30 and 10% of loss of bond strength loss if the adhesive is not uniformly placed. Okay. And Prime Bond Universal, it's self-levels really, really well. Look at this again. Okay. So this is the adhesive. And if you have any questions, please start shooting questions. The Dentsply folks are going to send it to me via WhatsApp. But you know, Smita, if you want to ask me while I'm working, it doesn't bother me at all. All right. So
okay.
So let me see here. I have my WhatsApp open in case you guys write to me. All right. And now we're going to switch. We're going to switch to the camera here and start our presentation. So now I'm going to show you all the rest of the products and talk about the techniques. And we will do this with a live demo, which is much more fun, in my opinion. All right. So here we are. And Smith, how much time do we have starting now? Just so I have an idea. I have more or less until...
we have 45 minutes, yeah.
45 minutes, perfect. Yeah. Okay. So let me put this in focus for you guys. All right, very well. So let's do this a little more challenging. And we're gonna add a little bit of sclerotic dentin here. Okay, just a little bit. Okay, so this is a simulation of sclerotic dentin. And obviously the indication of cusp replacement, all those things, I'm not gonna get too much into the details, but as a rule of thumb, if you have more than 2 millimeters of dentin, support dentin, you can keep the cusps. And if you have less than 2 millimeters, or if it's undermined here, and it's a functional cusp, you have the indication of reducing, the cusps for cusp replacement. I'm not going to get into the details. This is very controversial, but my point is that you should be able to know how to restore this. All right. Let me. Yeah, let me filter out the yellow light. So there you go. Okay, so my approach here is we're going to do this in 2 steps. First, we're going to reinforce all this with SDR, and then we're going to freehand the cusps. We're going to do this in relative isolation. Okay, so relative isolation with Optradam or with retraction cords with a very nice relative isolation. We're going to do just this, sealing the dentin and restoring the cusps. Then we're going to adjust the occlusion. And after that, we're going to place the rubber dam. All right. This is a very advanced technique, and I love to show this because it opens an array of options for you guys. Obviously, you could also, and this is now to Dr. Sun, because I know he loves rubber dam. I love it too, right? And so alternatively, I think it's a good alternative. You can place the rubber dam, and then you apply SDR. After that, you freehand the cusps, and then you adjust the cusps visually with the burr. Instead of adjusting the occlusion, you just adjust it visually. And then we're going to place the matrices and finish the class 2. Okay, so that's also an option. All right, so etching, again, I would etch the enamel. I would etch the pulp chamber and the sclerotic dentin, yeah, for no more than 15 seconds, okay? No more than 15 seconds. But the enamel, you have to etch at least 15 seconds. So how do you do this? We etch the enamel, we wait 10 seconds, and then we start etching the dentin. Okay? Like here, for instance, and the pulp chamber. Okay? And once we are around 10 seconds, I start rinsing. Okay? Because between 10 and no more than 15 seconds etch on dentin is recommended. All right? Then you rinse this dry, remove the excess of water. Okay? And let's apply the adhesive. So here is Brown Bond Universal. I think I don't have time to reverse my camera right now. Okay, because we have so little time. But I guess I have to, right? Just give me a second. Let's see if I can do this. So again, if you have any questions so far, please start shooting them to me. I don't think I'll be able to find the menu to reverse the camera. Let me see here. Just 1 second. I'll try once more. Ah, yes, here. Why? Why is this option on anyway? Okay. So this is Brian Bond Universal. Okay, so I like to apply the adhesive. Remember, this is universal, so you can also use it as a total etch or etch and rinse. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna apply a generous amount to the dentin. Okay, and then we're gonna apply this to all enamel areas. And you have to let it do its thing for around at least 20 seconds. 20 seconds, please. All right? At least 20 seconds. After that, you can air thin it. Of course, you can air thin it. But if you have applied a little bit excess like I did, I like to use a different technique. I like to blot dry this. So with a new micro brush and a piece of paper here, I will show it to you. You come here and you blot dry all the excess of the adhesive. Look at how this works really well. See? Now here, I have some excess here still and here. Look at this. It works really well. So only after I have removed the excess of adhesive, I will air dry this really gently, okay? So that's how I do it. So recap, you can air thin it carefully and then air dry it, or you can remove the excess of adhesive with blot drying. Blot drying is micro brush or paper points, okay? And once you're happy with the results, we can air dry it for at least 5 seconds. So this is what most dentists do. And that's not 5 seconds. You're going to have problems with this sensitivity because all universal adhesives, they contain water, all right? So this is 5 seconds. Let's go with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a long time. And I know you don't do it, but please do this. Please do this. Every universal adhesive has to be dried for 5 seconds, okay? At least 5 seconds. So I'll do it again so you see it. It's 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000. So that's 5 seconds, okay? And if you do this, so this is adhesive displacement. This is no. Don't do this, okay? Be gentle. Be gentle. Anyway, I'm not going to reapply. I'm just going to spread it around a little bit. But if I had done this, I would apply a little more. Actually, let me just show it to you. I would get a little bit of adhesive here, like this. Okay. I would remove the excess, and I would reapply a little bit. So if you displace the adhesive, if you're in a hurry, and you start blasting, then, just reapply a little bit, dry again. Five seconds, all right? Very good. You can see we have a problem here, but this is because this is a plastic tooth. Okay. But if you see this on the dentin, you have to apply more adhesive, all right? Now this is looking good. Cure time is 10 seconds, okay? All adhesives from Dentsply require 10-second cure, a minimum of 10-second cure, but only if you have a good curing lamp, all right? So this is the Smart Light Pro. You can see I have been using it for a while here in the lab. It's an amazing light system. It's very powerful. It's all you need. With this one here, you can cure our composites for 10 seconds only. Okay, I think up to A3. Then A3.5, A4, the dentin shades, they require 20 seconds. But everything else, A1, A2, bleach, flowable, 10 seconds. All right. Now, a little trick here. We need to opacify this sclerotic dentin. We need to opacify it. You can use a you can use an opaquer, okay? I'm going to use a white opaquer here. There are many brands available. So this is a white opaquer. So this is advanced. Please make sure you always have a white opaquer in your practice. And you just break the shade a little bit, like this. And this has to be cured for 20 seconds, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 20. 20 seconds. You can apply it in layers. It has to be applied really thin. Look at this. This is looking much better. All right. Now, if you have the products from Dentsply, like the flowable like this flowable here, the Spectra S Flow, ST Flow, it's available in dentin shades. Look at this. It's available in dentin shades. And this is also going to work. It's not as opaque. It's not as opaque as the white opaquer, but I highly recommend that you use it. And you can use it a little thinner here, a little thicker, sorry. So do this and you're going to have much less incidence of those dark restorations. You know, you place the restoration and then it looks super dark, right? I call it potato shade. You make A3, A2, and then at the end it looks like a potato shade. All right, so now let's reinforce this tooth and let's pre-fill it. There's one product that is amazing for this, and that's SDR. All right, SDR flow, SDR flow. This is the only material that I know that allows you to do this. Just keep the needle inside the material as you go. Reinforce the cusps. And seal all the dentin. Just seal all the dentin. It's the only material. You can, of course, you can stop in the middle and freeze it. Let me show this to you just so you see it happening. Like you don't need to go all the way in. You can just freeze it, okay? And adapt it to the dentin like this. And here as well. So all the dentin is sealed, okay? All right, this is beautiful. Look at this. Everything is sealed. No dentin is exposed. If you see a small air bubble here, you just remove it with the micro brush. I think it's the best way to do it. Okay, like this. So here I'm freezing it for a little bit because I'm going to apply a little more over here. And over here. Okay, make sure there's no SDR on the enamel area or close to the DJ, dentin enamel junction, okay? It's very clean. And now let's cure it for 20 seconds. 20 seconds. So the D1 and D3 shades from the effect shades, the dark composites like A3.5 and SDR, they require 20-second cure. Okay, so now we have to replace the cusps. And this is where I'm going to show you the two-step technique. We're going to freehand it. And we're going to use New Spectra A2. All right. So the technique is we're going to come. Let's see if I can show this to you. We're going to come from the palatal, and you're going to press the composite against the tooth to the best of your ability and go out here like this. See? This is the technique. If you need a little more, you just add a little more like that. Now we're going to sacrifice this area. Don't worry about this area because we can come with the burr later, okay, and improve this. We're going to try to get the best contour as possible on the palatal area here. It's very easy to do if you do it like this. If you have a very thin spatula, this is going to help you tremendously. Okay, so here we have like this. And see if you find here a hint of the palatal groove, and you start marking it a little bit. And make sure you adapt it to the tooth here. All right, now we're still missing, okay? So we can push this in like this. And we can always add more later, all right? So look at from this angle here, we try to follow the tooth. And here as well. That's it. That's looking like a nice cusp contour to me. Maybe we need a little more there, but I think we're going to stop here. Because it's like Murphy's Law, you know? You know Murphy's Law? If you try to make it better, it's going to get worse. It's Murphy's Law, but this is looking good. And see how the composite simply does not stick to the tooth? Okay, this is looking awesome. Look at this. You guys like this? Look at this contour. Give me thumbs up if you like it. All right, first nice trip. Let me start again. I'm so happy with the result that I'm tripping myself. Thank you, thank you. So first nice tip of the day. We want to brush this with a micro brush or a brush, but I use a micro brush. And I'm going to use a modeling liquid. Okay. Which modeling liquid? The best modeling liquid in the world, flowable composite. All right, just a little bit modeling liquid. Okay, so how am I going to do this? We're going to apply a little bit of flowable here. Just a little bit. Remember, flowables are weaker, so we don't want to use too much, all right? Just a little bit. You can apply directly on your micro brush as well. Just a little bit. This is going to make finishing much easier later on, okay? For this. Of course, it doesn't have to look as pretty as this because, I'm doing this in a microscope. I use microscope primarily to interior composites and veneers. On posteriors, not as much, but look at this, guys. This is going to be robust. Look at this. Okay. All right. Let's freeze this in place. 5 seconds. Okay, just freeze this in place. See if you have any imperfections on this side here. And you add a little bit of flowable there. Just so you don't have any air bubbles. This is optional, all right? Yeah. So let's cure this now. Let's cure this now for the recommended. What is the recommended curing time? Who knows the recommended curing time? This is A2. So what did I say before? 10 seconds, right? 10 seconds. And now it comes the time to work with the burr. Okay. We're simply going to get a fine burr like this. Okay. Fine burr and contour a little bit. So, and that's where you get rid of all this excess that you don't want here. And this is all STR, right? So it's very easy to, we're going to do a rebond. And then I like to do a little bit of contouring in this area here. Just do a very small, slow motion. And you go back and forth. Let me remove the water and just slowly so you can see the motion. Try not to touch the enamel, okay? Again, this can be done really quickly. If I want to publish this, then I will add a little more time. Like I'm gonna get this torpedo shape here, and I'm gonna work on this area here. And again, let's talk about indications. Some people say, no, I would never cap a cusp like this with composite. But remember, this is as strong as a lab composite. So if you have done a indirect composite only or overlay, you can do this. It's not a big deal. All right, so let's work a little bit on the secondary grooves here, and here, and here. And what do we have here? Ladies and gentlemen, what do we have here? We have a class 2. That's what we have here. That's a class 2. And look at the quality of these cusps. All right. So now, if you don't have the rubber dam placed, I would check the occlusion. Okay. Just adjust the occlusion and do the class 2. If you have the rubber dam on, you just continue now with the class 2. Okay. So let me repeat this. If you're doing this under relative isolation, okay, under relative isolation, I would adjust the occlusion and I would place the rubber dam. All right. If you're under the rubber dam, you just contour, you eyeball it following the cusp lines here. You can see the cusp lines. You follow it. All right. And after that, we're gonna proceed with the class 2. For the class 2, we're gonna need to add the matrices, and we're gonna do a rebonding. There's no, if you want to sandblast, you can, but you don't need to, because we already roughened the composite with a diamond burr. All right. So let me repeat this. Let me talk to you just for a second. All right, this is important stuff. All right. I know that a lot of people, they say sandblasting is obligatory for direct composites, but it's not really. I mean, it's nice to do sandblasting. I like sandblasting, but it's also messy. Remember that if you have a uniform preparation, a finished preparation with diamond burr, there is no difference in bone strength. Okay, there's no difference in bone strength if you have dentin or enamel that is roughened with the diamond burr or sandblasted. There's no difference in bone strength. When I use it a lot is like when you have contamination after you remove a provisional crown or provisional only, and the substrate is all dirty with uh, provisional cement. Then I like to use sandblasting. Or when it's a very complex preparation, sometimes I sandblast, but it's not mandatory. Okay, so let me just put here the matrix, and the reason I'm not showing this to you is because this is a model, and sometimes I have to nudge the plastic tooth a little bit. Okay. Sometimes I have to cheat a little bit. Yeah. And to place the matrix on this dental model. So I had to wedge the tooth a little bit with a tweezer to place. But anyways, you place the matrices, and then we're gonna place the ring. And I'm not sure if you know this, but the Paladin ring, you can use, it's stackable. You can put many multiple rings, like I can put here. Okay. After the wedge, of course, you need the wedge, right? So let me place one wedge here so you don't say that I didn't place wedges, but this, for this model, it's not very helpful, you know. All right, the wedge there. And guys, this is a class 2. This is nice and easy. Okay, Smith, how much time we have now?
We have half an hour, close to 25 minutes.
For the demo alone?
Demo, and then another 15 minutes for the questions.
So we have plenty of time. So guys, yeah, okay. I don't place the wedge sometimes because it's a model. Okay. A little trick here. This is the tweezer from the Paladin system. Okay, this is the tweezer. You have to press in the front to insert the wedge, all right? Like this. So you press in the back here to open it, but you press in the front, and when you press in the front here, now this is very sturdy. Okay, so this is how you do it. And another thing I love about this is that it has this round head here. So now I can confirm I have contact here and here. All right. Very good. So let's place this one first. You place it, release, and push it downwards a little bit like this. Okay. As you can see, this is a very fast technique. I would say you need 10 minutes to replace the cusp. Okay, so now I release it, and then if you can press it down a little bit, if it's hitting the tooth here, you press it down with your fingers a little bit. If you have small fingers, it all depends. It all depends, okay? All right, so now it's the adhesive application, and here we're going to do the rebond. Remember, so for a rebond, the technique is these are the steps. You roughen the composite with a diamond burr, okay? Or you sandblast it, it's up to you, okay? Then you rinse it and dry it. You rinse it well and dry it, okay? And what about the dentin? Oh, what do I do with the dentin? Well, if there's dentin exposed, then it's a bad luck. Then you have to bond everything again, okay? And this is why I sealed the dentin first with SDR. Can I tell you a secret? I can tell you a secret. I don't apply composite directly on dentin anymore. Right? So I don't, let's see here. So here's a class 2, for instance. I don't apply the adhesive and then I come with the composite here. I don't do this anymore. I always seal the adhesive first with STR or with a flowable. So I would get, the dentin shade and apply a thin layer of flowable, very thin, cure it, and after that I would apply the composite. Okay, so in other words, I always seal the dentin with STR or with flowable before I apply the composite. Okay, very good. So adhesive, but now adhesive for rebond. This is the rebond technique, and you're gonna see that it's a different technique in terms that I'm gonna air dry the heck out of this. All right. So I will remove a little bit of the excess here, like I showed before. And now we're gonna air dry the heck out of this as much as possible. All right, so this is rebond. It's a very, very thin layer, and sometimes I even come with a dry microbrush and I reapply here just to make sure there's no excess adhesive here anywhere. All right. Okay. Very well. So now we proceed. The marginal ridges, I'm going to use A2, or you can even use A1. Should I use A1? Let's do it. A1. See if I find it here. Yeah, I just have A2 and A3. So let's go with A2. Yeah, unfortunately. It's all good. But I wouldn't use enamel here. I mean, you can use the enamel shade, but if you use the enamel shade here, it can be super thin. It has to be super thin. So let me show you the difference. So this is A2, all right? A2. You apply under pressure like this. And it's easy like that, okay? And this point, I like to use a round instrument. A round instrument, just to make sure the composite is in the right place. I always use this round instrument here. Look at this. Okay. And look how good this composite is. If I want to remove the excess here, look at this. It's an amazing composite. So easy to work with. All right. Now, little trick, make sure this marginal ridge is not higher than this marginal ridge. So you have a reference here. So this is a little too high. Look at this. Let me show this to you. This is too high. Okay, so make sure you push it downwards a little bit like this. That's it. Takes, it takes 1 minute to place a nice marginal ridge, I would say. It's a great investment. It's a great investment. Because then you save time later in occlusal adjustment, when I do it like this, half of the time I have no occlusal adjustment. No occlusal adjustment. So this one. Now the other one we can do, if I had to do, I can do this with enamel. The effect shades, they come with an enamel shade as well. These are the effect shades. You can see here effects. Okay, you have D1, D3, and E1. And the enamel shade, it's optional, but it's a very nice enamel shade. If you are one of those that want to use enamel shade, then you need to use it really, really thin. Let me show you how to use this. So this is enamel shade, so I have to do it really thin now, so it doesn't look too dark. Okay, so let me show you how I do it. First, I remove most of it. And bear in mind that this enamel shade from Dentsply is a very forgiving enamel shade. Very forgiving. It's more like a milky white. It's more like a milky white enamel shade. So here, for instance, I would remove this excess here. Okay, and then push it downwards. Okay, let me show you what I'm doing here. You can use this with a mirror, but you come from the back, from the posterior. You have to have this off-angle spatula here. This is IPC number 2 carver. Yeah, here. So interproximal. You cannot see it, right? Interproximal number 2 here. Number 2 carver. Okay. There are many different types of off-angle IPC instruments. And IPC is interproximal carver. All right, this is it. Then a little bit of spreading here with the micro brush. You can use a brush as well. This is dry. The composite's so nice that you don't need to use adhesive. If you use adhesive for modeling composite, I would say don't do it. No, I'm sorry. I would say, use a modeling liquid. It's much better, because or use the bond of those old adhesive systems. All right, guys. So this is, you see the enamel, it's a little harder to place the enamel composite than the universal composite. Right? And this is why I prefer to use the universal composite instead of the enamel one. But if you use the enamel shade, like I just did here, the E1, okay, then you have to apply it really thin. And if it's too dark, if you have this dark effect, then you remember old Walter and just use A2 or A1, all right? Okay, 10 seconds. Okay, at this point, we can remove the rings if we want. And I want to. And you can even remove the matrices if you are under rubber dam. A good rubber dam, it should not be a big deal. All right. But don't remove the wedges. All right. Well, so what do we have here now? We have a class 1, right? It's going to be piece of cake. All right, piece of cake. So what's the next part? We're going to do a class 1. How do we do a class 1? First of all, let's give it a little color, a little life, so it looks like a tooth. It looks alive. It looks beautiful. Nobody's gonna think it's caries underneath. So let's add a little bit of a dentin shade there. And this is where this technique is amazing, because we're gonna combine the dentin shade. We're gonna combine it with the universal shade. That's why it's so easy. Okay, so no enamel shades here. And so here is the dentin shade again. All right. And we're gonna do a simple horizontal layer here. Very simple horizontal layer. Okay. And we need to leave around 1.5 millimeters for the occlusal increment. I like to use the round instrument for this area, because I just brush it against the wall like this. Look. And this is a horizontal layer, so it's no complicated oblique layers. It's very simple. Look how the adaptation is easy. Look at this. Look. So you don't need to look at this. You can do this just with a dental mirror, but you don't need direct vision for any of this, because it's so easy. Look at this wonderful adaptation. Okay. Same thing on the other side. Just make sure you leave a little more space here on the palatal groove. Look at this palatal groove here. It's beautiful. So again, this is a incremental horizontal layer. Okay, why can we do it? Because we're doing it on top of STR and on top of reinforced cusps, all right? Okay, you don't need to make it pretty, but you know me. Here's 20 seconds, all right? Don't forget, 20 seconds. And let me remove the filter. Let me remove the filter and show you the results obtained. Look at this. Look at this color. See the dentin color? So this is going to look much better, much better. All right. Look at the contrast with the marginal ridge. And even with the A2, look at this. All right. So what's the message here? What is the message? The message is, always if you have space, you need like 0.5 mm, and then you need to leave 1 millimeter for the occlusal layer. But if you have space, always throw a little bit of dentin shade in there in the cavity. All right. Okay. All right. Time for the occlusal layer. What shade am I going to use? What shade am I going to use? If you have been paying attention, I said it's a simplified shading system. I'm simply going to continue with A2. Okay. The only exception is that I would have preferred to have applied A1 to the marginal ridges. And that's it. Okay. But, all right. So the way I like it to do it, I like to do one cusp at a time. So I do this one. Okay. And the technique here is keep the instrument oblique like this. Oblique 1 and 2. So these are the cusp of the vertents of the cusp. And then keep the instrument perpendicular like this. And here. And if somebody asks me, what are you doing right now, Walter? I would say, oh, I'm having fun. But, I'm restoring the mesiovestibular cusp of the first upper molar. Okay. Let's put some secondary grooves there and here too. Okay. So I brush a little bit. I'm a micro brush maniac. So Smita, you just sent me a message. Is that 10 minutes? I won't be able to check the message, but I assume it is 10. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, we're almost done. So this takes me around 1 minute per cusp. Okay. So let's cure this 3 seconds. So this is a soft cure. Okay. Then I'm going to do this one as well. This one, it's really almost nothing of composite here, just a little bit. The distal palatal cusp. And again, I follow here. Here's going to be the oblique ridge, right? Crista transversa. Dr. Sun, did you learn the names in Latin? I doubt it. So, because, I come from Brazil and we speak a Latin language, Romance, one of the Romance languages, right? Portuguese. So we had to learn Latin a little bit. So this crista transversa is going to come here, is the oblique ridge. All right. So now just to show you what I'm doing here from this perspective. Okay. So I'm trying to follow the cusp ridge here. So make it really deep so you don't have to adjust the occlusion like this and like this. And then after that, you come with the instrument vertical like this. And we're done. Nice and easy. Like they say in America, easy peasy. Nice and easy. Okay. So this is one. It's looking good. All right, let me rush a little bit. So now we do this cusp, one cusp at a time. Then we soft cure each cusp. We soft cure it for 3 seconds. And then we cure everything at the end, all right? As long as the cusps are very deep like this, it's not a big deal. We pre-cure for 3 seconds. It's called soft cure. It's very well established in the literature. And why do I do it? It reduces a little bit shrinkage stress, but it simply saves a lot of time, really a lot of time. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to leave this here. We're going to fix this with the flowable later on. Three seconds. All right, and now the mesiopalatal. This is the hardest cusp, the hardest cusp to restore because it has a complex anatomy, right? It has a very complex anatomy, and especially the external verten here connects with the inside of the cusp. So if you look here, you have to connect this composite here. I have to push more composite here and connect this with this cusp here. Look at this. See if you can see it. So this one here connects here like this. Okay, so that's why it's a little complicated to do. You don't really need to do this like that. You can simplify a little bit. But hey, since I'm showing it to you, here it is, right? To the marginal ridge here. And of course, I'm just showing off a little bit. You don't need to do all this detail in the anatomy of the tooth, you know. But I have a microscope, and if I would be doing this clinically, I would simplify a little bit the anatomy, or if it is for a publication, then I would put the time and effort to get this done, right? But don't get frustrated if you don't get this type of details in your anatomy. You don't really need to. Okay, so now I'm going to stop here. I could sculpt a little longer, but I still want to show you the polishing. Okay. You can see the results. It's looking really good. Really deep. It's not gonna, the occlusion is not gonna be too high. And if it's high, it's gonna be on the top of the cusp here, and that's okay. All right. Like what you don't want is a high anatomy really here in this area here. Three seconds. Let me just fix a little bit this here. Needs a little more composite there. Again, if I were doing this clinically, I would not fix this. I would just apply a small little layer of flowable and be done with it. Okay. All right, guys. So this is the technique you do. You do one cusp at a time. Takes 1 minute per cusp. It's one of the fastest techniques that I'm aware of. Okay. The only thing is now to polish this, I would apply a little bit of flowable. You can use the D3 flowable, or you can use a yellow stainer. I mean, there are different things you can use. All right. This one here is a yellow stain, but I'm also going to show you the flowable. Okay. I'm going to show both of them, and you just remove the excess like this. Okay, so this is the yellow stain. This is the flowable Spectra A4, for instance. You can also use it instead. And then you brush it and remove the excess, okay? This is gonna make finishing and polishing much easier. Just make sure you don't use too much, okay? Okay, now, Dr. Sun, I have a surprise for you. I will show you the brown stain. You tell me later if you hate it. If you hate it or not. So the brown stain is just for Dr. Sun because he was so kind to translate for me today. So this is how I apply the brown stain, Dr. Sun. A little bit here in the middle. And then I remove most of it. So for a publication, if I have to do it, this is how I do it. Right? Just a little bit. We can put some white as well. So this is white stain, just a little bit. Okay, this, guys. All right, was not the best thing of my life. Now we cure this and apply a little bit of glycerin if you want to improve the polishing, but it's optional. It all depends on how much anatomy you have in. Okay. So this is just liquid glycerin. And I spread it thin like this. So it goes in all the little corners of the restoration. Okay, Smith, I'll be done in 2 minutes, all right?
No problem. We have still 15 minutes.
Yeah, but the results are amazing, right? Look at this.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so now finally we're gonna cure this for the recommended 10 seconds. Only 10 seconds. All right. In the proximals, a little bit of disc. You can use a little bit of disc. If it's too thin, I sometimes use finishing disc like this. But if I have excess, I'm going to use, of course, enhance. Yeah, if you use the wrong side of the disc, Dr. Sun, if you use the wrong side of the disc, it's not going to work, no? All right, so this is the disc. This is enhance. Enhance is one of the best polishers in the world from Dentsply. It does not harm the enamel. So I can finish this area here. And Smith, I was thinking about showing Enhance Flex. Is this coming? Well, I'll show it anyway.
Yeah.
So this
You can
is
show it.
Enhance Flex.
Mhm.
It's a lamella system. It's universal. If you haven't seen this yet, oh my God. Oh my God, please. It's so easier to finish it. Look at this here. I'm going to show this to you here. You should be using with water, by the way. Okay. All right, and this is now the polisher from the enhanced flex system. This one. And I'll be able to polish this in like no time. Okay, it's around 8,000 RPMs with water. Just find the right place, the right position for it. Okay. And let me show you this area here. I haven't polished this area. I will show it to you. I will show this to you without water, so you can see how fast you can polish this. Look at this. See this? It's polished already. So look at this. So if you don't know the system, please take a look. All right. Okay, if you need to remove a little bit of the powder, I would recommend you use one of those finishing brushes, like this one. Okay. But this is just to remove the powder if you need to take a picture or something. All right, guys. So let's dry this. And hopefully we have a polished composite. Look at this. Oh, yes. All right, so here's the composite, a lot of color. Remember, this was a cusp replacement. Look at the cusp. I hope you enjoy this. Dr. Sun, thank you again for translating this to me for the people in Vietnam. I love to be there. It was amazing to be there in April, and I hope I can come back. It's an amazing experience. Very nice dentistry in Vietnam, high advanced. I was impressed. Thank you so much, and I'm available for your questions.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Walter, for sharing such valuable insights and your experience with us today. I think the session was very informative. I would now like to open up for the questions. We have already received a few questions in chat or also in the Q&A box. And I really actually wanted to ask this question in the middle, but yeah, we didn't want to disturb the flow. So there was a question, what is this modern liquid and can glycerin be used as a substitute? And I think it was that time when you were applying prime and bond and the flow, but maybe we can ask the
Well, right at the
technique.
end, I used liquid glycerin, but you can use glycerin gel. It's even better. I like to airspray it, but you don't need to. And that's going to just help you a little bit with finishing and polishing. It's not necessary. For the interior, is not necessary at all because you're going to polish everything away anyway. So there's no point. Um,
But
in
I
the
think
beginning,
it was at the
in the
beginning.
beginning, I did
Yeah.
not use any glycerin. What I used a flowable
Mhm.
as a modeling liquid, right?
Okay.
When I was building the cusps, I applied a little bit of flow and I brushed it on the uncured composite as a replacement of a modeling liquid.
Right.
Is that maybe that's what it is? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. I can pause a while in case anybody wants to have an extended question on this. If not, I can proceed.
Well, I can talk about a few details, like the soft cure at the end. I did when I finished the restoration there. Okay, you can see from a distance, I finished the 4 cusps here, one at a time, and I did a soft cure. So soft cure is, people don't talk about this too much anymore because of SDR. SDR solved the problem of shrinkage stress, but soft cure is a way of improving your chances of avoiding debonding or sensitivity. And what it does is, because you pre-cure the composite 3 seconds, you initiate the gel state of the composite, you decrease the exothermic reaction of the polymerization, so the increment doesn't heat as much. So when you come back and cure it later, it's going to cure a little less, and it's going to decrease the shrinkage stress in 30%. And the mechanical properties in like 2-3%. So it's very small detail. The loss of mechanical properties is negligible, but the loss in shrinkage stress is significant. And that's why we used to do soft cure. And I love to use it because it's so practical.
Great. Okay, so we have a next question. How to avoid white line along the composite margin during finishing and polishing?
Yeah, so it's a great question.
Yeah.
First of all, don't trim the margins with a high-speed burr. You come with a high-speed burr, with a diamond high-speed burr, and you trim the composite and the enamel, brr, like in high speed. I mean, that's a recipe for fracturing the enamel rods. So you have some cohesive fracture within the enamel, and that's going to create some white lines. But honestly, the problem is if you bulk fill. If you bulk fill, there's so much stress trapped within this tooth composite unity, that when you start finishing in policy, those stresses release and they end up fracturing the enamel again, the enamel rods. White lines are enamel fractures, cohesive fractures. So how do you prevent it? Doing everything that I did here. Everything that I did was aimed to progressively decrease the shrinkage stress, right? A nice adhesive application, then pre-filling the composite and pre-reinforcing with SDR, using a low shrinkage stress material like SDR, pre-filling, then incrementally filling the composite, the marginal ridges, the dentin shade, and finally on the occlusal area, which is the most critical area, I did a incremental oblique technique, oblique now within the cusp, and I soft cured. And I'm not done yet. There's one more thing that I did. I also finished the margins with the micro brush, so I don't need to trim the margins with a burr. So, it's I think you create this with time and experience, and you even think about, okay, why am I doing all this? Oh, because it works like this, and I don't have sensitivity. I mean, I don't have sensitivities with my composites. It happened once or twice in my lifetime. There's no sensitivity. And there's no white lines.
Great.
Most 99% of the time,
Yeah,
nobody's perfect.
Of course, I mean, there are always incidences, but yeah, that's a
Yeah,
great
but
tip.
few in between.
Right. We
I
have
forgot the
another
expression.
question
Far and few in between.
right. Yes, so the next question is, what is the last composite layer shade that you placed on the occlusal surface?
So at the very end, well, the layers I showed you was A2, so it was just spectra A2. You cannot see it, but yeah, here it is. Okay, so A2, high viscosity. But after that, I sealed the deep grooves with the flowable. With the flowable, you can use D3, flowable D3 or A4. I used A4. I cannot find anything anymore here. Oh, here it is, A4. All right, and that's it. I also used a yellow tint just to show it, Okay, so you just buy one of those
All right.
stain kits, and you just use yellow. That's it.
Right. Yeah. Next
But
question.
but
Sorry.
just let me say clearly that the Flobo is more than enough. And if you don't do the anatomy too deep, you don't need to use the Flowable. All right.
Mhm.
But whenever I do this and I try to do the anatomy not so deep, then I get high contacts and I have to adjust the occlusion. So that's why I keep it really deep. Next question.
Yeah. At what cusp thickness should we consider complete cusp removal?
Yeah, I would say less than 2 millimeters, you know.
Mhm.
There's so many things involved, like the presence of marginal ridges or not. This is a very complicated topic.
Mhm.
But I would say if you have large cavities that are the width are larger than 2/3 of the vestibular palatal width, so like the tooth is like this, more than 2/3 is the width of the cavity, you know, and no marginal ridges, and the cusp is thinner than 2 millimeters, I would start recommending cusp replacement. Another thing is patient bite force. You have a big guy like me with big masseters. I mean, reduce the cusps, you know. Now my grandmom comes here and she's so thin and she has no strength. It doesn't matter. Just put composite there. What's really important is that you have cusp thickness, you have bulk, you have material restoring the right anatomy of the cusp. Because if you make the cusp so thin, it's going to break. If you make the cusp, you know, the way it's supposed to be, then it's going to work.
Okay. And another question is, what is the minimum thickness in millimeters when using composite shade E1 to avoid darkening of the restoration?
Yeah, 0.4, 0.3 on the marginal ridges, right? Has to be really, really thin. If you make a 1 millimeter thick marginal ridge, yeah, that's
Right.
why I don't like to use enamel. You know, enamel is too sensitive to the layer thickness.
Right. Okay. The next one is when the proximal ridge is thin and lacks dentine support, should we perform CDO, cavity design optimization, with the bevel, or should we remove the proximal ridge completely?
Well, I'm a big believer of minimally invasive dentistry, so whenever possible, keep the marginal ridge there. But I had the luck to study with one of the inventors of bleach, of dental
Mhm.
bleaching. Harold Hyman was one of the publishers of the original article. Great American guy, American restorative dentist, and from North Carolina. And you know, he said, Walter, okay, but if it's a piece of glass there, if you look at it, it's gonna break. Just remove it, you know. But I try to keep the marginal ridge as much as possible.
Okay. I have one question, which you actually already shared, but I think it's also good to reinforce. How does the shade matching of Neospectra compares with the Vita shade guide?
Wow, it's clinically established. This shade system. We have been using this shade system since 2015. 8 years. There are a gazillion clinical cases available there. Actually, in the presentation that I showed you guys, in the very beginning of it, there are like clinical cases done by dental students, you
Hmm?
know, and I mean, you can see for yourself. Let me see here. Yeah. First of all, yeah, these ones here. Oh, first of all, this is a study that I did. These are my restorations. So these are teeth with the different shades. This is A1, A2, A3, if etc. I restored all of them with A2. So you can see that composite picks up a lot of the background. So it works perfectly. And that's one shade for all shades. So that's not the indication. the indication is A2, we're going to use only for these shades. This is how we indicate it. So we pushed it to the limit and still work. And if you look at the restorations of dental students and professors, look at this. I mean, these are just amazing cases. Look at this one here.
Yeah.
Okay, so it just works. Oh, this one is the sorry, these are the effect shades, which you can combine the dentin with the enamel. So this is what Dr. Gabriel did here from Germany. But I would use A1 instead of the enamel, and works just as fine, and it's more forgiving. That's why I recommend using the dentin with the dentin shade in combination with the universal shades. All right. So these are all cases of composite restorations done with Spectra. Look at this, all of them. See, before
Nice.
and after. I mean, it just works. Some complicated class 4 cases, you're gonna use the dentin shade, then the effect shades. All right. And then again, I mean, it pays off if you have some tints, you have some yellow tints and red tints, and then you apply, if you think you need a little more A shade, you apply a little red, just a little bit of red on the internally in the restoration. And if you need a little more yellow for B shades, B as in Bob, then you apply a little more yellow before you apply the last layer. So there are ways of, or you buy one of those systems with 40 shades, and then most of them are going to expire anyway. But the trend is simplified shade system, and Dentsply is certainly a pioneer in this area.
Absolutely.
All right.
Walter, let's take one last question. I know we have 5 minutes overrun this webinar, but I think
with pleasure. With pleasure.
Yeah. Why do you use the diamond burr with water at the palatal cusp during the composite filling process? Does this affect the adhesive ability of composite material?
Yeah, so whenever you're reducing the composite, we're talking about the composite, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever you're reducing your composite, let's say you're repairing or you're correcting post-operatively or trans-operatively in the middle of the restoration, say, oh my God, I put too much composite. This is going to be 2 millimeters high, or in the anterior, you say, oh my God, it's going to be a bunnet, a rabbit tooth here. It's going to be so far protruded. So let me fix this. So whenever you're doing these things, in my case, what was I doing? What was I doing? I was correcting the composite trans-operatively. Yeah. So you always do this with water spray, with water refrigeration, right? But for small and very slow contouring, below 10,000 RPMs, it's not a problem to use without water. So it's a matter of common sense, good judgment. Yeah, because if you get a burr, let me show this to you guys here. If you get a burr here and you go like this, and you don't use water, I mean, come on, you're gonna burn the composite.
We don't see your we see the presentation, Walter. Are you showing something on the
yeah, sure. So if you get a nice multiplier like this and you go crazy on it, wait, because now I changed the velocity already. It's Murphy's law now.
Yeah.
So if you go 200, I mean, and you don't use water, it's gonna burn everything. But if we go 10,000 RPMs, it's not a big deal, So I can come here, I can even use this in my finger. It's not a big deal. All right, so good judgment. The world needs this nowadays.
Yes, absolutely. So I think that's all the questions for today. Thank you so much, Walter. Thank you so much, Dr. Son. We had a great pleasure of having you, and that was definitely a very interesting session. So I hope our participants have enjoyed the session. We have a short survey link in the chat for those of you who have already done it. Thank you very much. It's a quick, short 2-question survey. Please fill in for us so that we can improve and do more better webinars in future. We have still questions pouring in. Do you have a specific burrs to use in polishing?
Do I have a specific?
Specific burrs to use in polishing.
A specific, the word again?
Burrs.
Burrs.
Burrs, yeah.
A specific burr for using in polishing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I always use fine grit
Mm-hmm.
diamond burrs first. And this is brush movement. Yeah. So you have everything nice and easy, no sharp corners. And then I think what he's asking is not burrs, but which polishing system I use. I
Instrument,
use
maybe, yeah.
Enhance Flex, the lamella system. It's just amazing. Okay, but the burr, if you're asking for the burr, is for pre-polishing, for the contouring, I would use the fine diamond in slow speed.
Great.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, guys. I hope you liked the results. Give me thumbs up.
Yeah,
Give
some
thumbs up
people are
also for Dr.
waving.
Sun. Dr. Sun, thank you so much. And
Yeah.
Smita, if you have one more question, I'm still here.
No, I think there are no more questions. So we are ready
Amazing.
to close the
All
webinar,
right.
but we can maybe take a picture together, all of us, before we close while the participants are leaving. I just want to thank all the participants. Just want to say good night and thank you for joining us while we can take some pictures together. Let's pause. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Captured.
All right. Send me a copy later.
Definitely. All
Thank
right.
you so
So
much,
thank you,
guys.
everyone. We will hang on for a while just to make sure everybody has left. And yes.
Thanks, Dr. Sun.
Yes.
I'll be in touch with you later, Dr. Sun.
Yeah. Some people are asking for the recordings. Yeah, we will get back to you once we finish all the recording and yeah, the session.
Recording stopped.
Okay.
All right, recording stopped. Dr. Sun, was it too hard?
I'm sure it was. We can't hear you, Dr. Son.
Thank you so much, Dr. Walter, Dr. Sun. Thank you, Smita and Chu. Yeah.
Thank you
Good
so much.
night.
Thanks so much, Lee.
It was fun. Actually, after COVID, we don't do many webinars, right? So it was fun.
I still do it. I mean, we did
Yeah.
one with
Yeah.
Vietnam 4 months ago.
Yes, I wasn't there.
In my opinion, when you do a live demo like this, people love it. If you say it's live view, live demonstration, if you say PowerPoint, people
Yeah, it's so
run
much.
like the wind, you know. It's
Yeah,
like,
that's
who
true.
wants to do PowerPoint for 2 hours, you know?
Right. Actually, it was quite engaging, even, looking at you build up the cusp and, carving it nicely, doing the finishing, polishing. It was actually quite interesting to, watch the whole process and the tooth being built up to such a beautiful restoration, of the final restoration.
Very, very nice.
Nice.
Okay, Dr. Sun, I'll talk to you later, all right? I want to see if we can do some projects together. Maybe you can build a clinical case with this technique. And I send you the materials. We'll talk about it, okay?
All
Just
right.
Bye.
I
Thank you
know
so
I
much.
know where to
Thank
find
you,
you.
everyone.
Guys, Dance by Team, thank you so much. Lee, thank you so much. You guys
See
did a
you
great
later,
job.
Doctor.
Thank
See you
you.
next
Smita,
year in Vietnam.
I
We
hope
are
so. I
waiting for
hope so.
you. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Send the invite to Khalil. Don't forget.
Definitely.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, everyone. Good night.
Bye-bye, Smita. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night.
Thank you, Smita.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Chị cảm ơn Trúc nha. Mình out nào.